our sound is on, and now we are here. So that was our new introduction. Thank you to Peter Tran for that. That was fucking amazing. I love it. It's great. As well as tonight's episode of Star Trek.
Wow.
Right?
They came back with a bang.
Yeah, like, so, what's it been, 6 weeks?
Yeah,
No, November 12th, I think, was the last episode.
So that's around, like, 7 weeks.
Yeah. So it's been about a month and a half.
Yeah.
About a month and a half.
Break.
Yeah.
I feel like most mid-season premieres usually try to, like, ease you back into the show and remind you, like, this is where we were, and these are our characters, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, this show just said, fuck that. We're back.
Yeah. This started off immediately with a bang. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Which sucks because
so much happened.
Yeah, there was so much that was going on. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode.
Oh god.
So this was our namesake himself, Commander Riker.
Okay.
This is just
quick summary. Can we just summarize really quickly before we jump in? Because we're really bad at doing that.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk for a second about where we picked, like where we left off before we picked up. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we left off with Stamets having gone like, and
they had to do like 100 bajillion jumps to try and get rid of the Klingons.
It was 137.
Yeah.
Or 133, something like that. It was a bunch of jumps.
A bunch of jumps. A million times.
Overloaded his neural pathways or whatever, and they wound up someplace else.
Basically, and they wind up. They don't know where they are.
Right. So now they're looking out the window, and it's like what's going on? Yeah. Obviously, everyone knew where they were. Jonathan Frakes had confirmed that not necessarily that he was directing the Mirror Universe episode, but that they were going to the Mirror Universe sometime this part of the season. So everyone kind of guessed that. I've been
waiting for this, and I'm so excited because the Mirror Universe episode of the original series is like my favorite episode. So,
like the Mirror Universe episodes of most of the shows that had
they're just so good. I am a huge alternate universe junkie. Like when I wrote fan fiction, I was all about alternate universe fan fiction. I love when they do it in Star Trek. There's an alternate universe episode of Grey's Anatomy that I fucking love.
Yeah, but you know what makes me really happy about this episode is, one, it sort of confirms a lot of things that we'll kind of jump into later.
Yeah.
One of those things is something that I was kind of wrong about. So, at least as far as we can tell now, I was wrong about it. But it also confirms that a lot of these other fanboys that came up with these random things were also wrong about something.
Yeah, I said this after the show was over, that I like how the show, they expect the right things, and the show delivers on these things that we think are going to happen, that we want to happen, just not in the way that we ever thought they would.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that I took away from this right now anyway is that Lorca is not a Mirror Universe version of Lorca. The Mirror Universe version of Lorca is dead.
Missing.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, whatever.
We don't know.
So that fan theory can now be laid to rest. That's done. We don't have to deal with that anymore.
He's shady.
Right. But at the same time, we got some remorse from him in this episode.
Yeah.
So like we can tell that he's starting to kind of see that he's not necessarily always making the right choices.
Yeah, he's squishy on the inside.
Yeah. So we're getting character development out of him.
He's a little whoopee, as we like to say on the internets.
Yeah. So start us off. Where did we pick up when this episode began?
We pick up immediately where the last episode left off, and they're trying to figure out where they are. Saru gets really nervous, and his head does the little
the threat ganglia?
Yeah,
threat ganglia.
Threat ganglia. We check in on Stamets, and he is stable but unresponsive.
And his eyes are
like
like his pupils have like just gone completely white.
His eyes have gone white, and he keeps saying stay out of the palace, and people think that he's just
right. Yeah. But now we still don't know what the palace is.
We don't know what that means.
By the end of the episode, we still have no idea what that is.
He is correct, because the other thing that he kept saying, the enemy was here.
Right.
People also thought that was just delusion.
Right, but we'll get to that
there later.
A little bit later. Yeah, but that's definitely a thing. But if any of you guys know like a reference to a palace from any of the other previous Mirror Universe episodes, or just something in Star Trek lore in general, I couldn't come up with anything. I didn't really have enough time to Google anything. But
the crazy dead ship at the beginning of this series.
Oh yeah.
That's the closest thing to a palace I can.
Right. It was the ship of the dead that was covered in all the sarcophagi. Yeah. But I don't know what the palace could be.
Yeah, no.
Like unless they mean like the wherever the emperor of the Terran.
Oh, that would make sense.
was it Terran
The
Empire?
Terran Empire,
The
yeah.
Terran
We're jumping
Empire
ahead,
is
but-
like maybe there's something on Earth.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But let's take a look at the chat really quick. We've got Ryan, Anna, Kirk Darling, who I believe is new. I don't remember seeing you before, so welcome.
Jalen.
But yeah, we want to know what you guys thought about this episode. Let us know in the chat, like where you thought it was going, what kind of surprised you, if there was anything that happened that you weren't expecting, because like there was a fucking shit ton of stuff that I was not.
There was one really big moment that I did not see coming.
Like I'm not the guy who's gonna like sit there and watch TV and just like scream at the television,
I'm
but
half
like
black, so I
like
am that person,
right in the middle of the show, I was like, holy fuck. Like, never do that. Tonight I did.
Okay, so Stamets is not okay. Burnham and Tilly figure out that they are in a mirror universe, the mirror universe.
Right.
And they're all kind of freaking out about it. Ash guys got some weird PTSD stuff going on because they sent a reconnaissance ship out to figure out where they were, and Ash was on it, and it was a Klingon ship, or there were Klingon bodies on the ship, so he started freaking out and having his PTSD thing. So then he goes to talk to his previous captor, who was still imprisoned on the Discovery, and that's when shit got real.
Yeah, so like we don't need to like break down like the entire episode step by step, but we kind of needed to go there to get to that. So L'Rell,
that was her name, yeah.
Yeah, L'Rell says something to Ash. It was what was it? It was what is your real name?
Yes.
And
it was like a total Manchurian candidate.
Yeah. It was like his trigger statement, and all of a sudden you see him just kind of like come to attention, stares blankly ahead, and starts speaking in Klingon back to L'Rell, and L'Rell just keeps asking him this is $20 wine that only cost me 5 cents, or vice versa. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know which bottle was which. Thank you, Bevmo. So. Yeah, so now Ash is speaking in Klingon. At this point, we still kind of don't know what's going on. Yeah. Like, this was where I was like, were all these people right?
Yeah.
Or was he just brainwashed while he was on the other ship and being held captive? Like, we still don't. Yeah, we didn't know yet. So I was like super confused. But then she said, "What is your real name?" So I was like, "Fuck."
It's the Vogue thing. It's the fucking Vogue thing.
So that's got to be it.
Yeah.
And it's got to be him. Yeah.
And we do what is David's boyfriend's name?
Oh, he's the guy from that shitty movie that I hate.
Oh, that's
that other one. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember. We'll look this up.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now.
So Kirk is saying that he actually does think that Lorca might be the mirror universe version. But so like the only way that could happen is if there was a switch earlier in time, and I mean,
that happened way before the started.
Lorca isn't giving us any sort of hints that might be a thing. There was the scene where they were trying to figure out what was going on, and they found out that there had been previous ships that had come over, which we know from Enterprise, the U.S.S. Defiant. Had come over, which I honestly don't remember that episode. I watched Enterprise once, and I never rewatched it, so I don't really remember a lot of the storylines with that, except like I remember some of the Xindi stuff and like other random shit. But I don't remember the mirror universe version, except that they went over because of the Defiant was there, and that Sato ended up becoming the Empress, and like a lot of other weird stuff. So that could be a thing too. Is that Sato from Enterprise could be this Emperor.
Oh, that'd be a nice callback. Because I'm very curious as to the Emperor is, because they kept referencing the Emperor.
The only problem with that theory is that that version was so long before that she would be super old.
Other thought is that and I hope that I'm right, but I'm probably not, is that the mirror universe, Michelle Yeoh is the Emperor.
See, that's what.
Where did she come? Where did she go?
That's what I would like to see.
Burnham is now captain of the ship,
right?
And I feel like that would really fuck up Burnham.
And they didn't say how Burnham became the captain of the Shenzhou. They didn't say, at least as far as I recall from that. They didn't say that. They didn't say that. Right. So we don't know if there was a mutiny there, like there was in our universe, and she just became captain, or whether she just ended up being captain of that. We also don't know whether, like, all the Vulcan stuff with her happened in the mirror universe.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying it could be. She could be the Emperor.
Yeah, I would.
That'd be so juicy to see Burnham
be totally down
having
with that.
to fight bad Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah,
I'd be there for that.
I would be super on board for that. That's a really good theory.
Hugh Culber. That's the Doctor's name on the show.
Oh yes.
He is played by.
I can't remember the dude's. I'm so bad with that stuff.
But whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I just remember him as the really annoying tech guy from Supernova.
Wilson Cruz is his real name.
Yes.
There we go. Found it. Anyway. Moving on. So Dr. Culber eventually runs more tests on.
Right, because like Ash goes to the doctor and he's like something is off, something's wrong with me.
Blah, blah.
He scans him and he's like, oh wait, at first this looked like this was just stuff from your torture, but it looks like they altered you. They shortened your bones, they shaved your radius, they did all this other stuff. So, and it seems like they implanted other memories on top of his memory engrams, whatever. So it's now, I don't know, because like at first the theory was, okay, this was the augment virus that turned Voq into Ash.
Yes.
But now it's looking like they
opened him up and stuffed Voq in him.
It's like they Frankensteined him back together and took like a human brain and implanted Voq's memory consciousness on top of it, but then covered it up with Ash, which I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't get exactly the science behind it. Yeah, like the why. But
well, the why I don't understand, because like we know from there were races in Voyager who were doing the I don't remember what the German thing was called, but where they had people pretending to be Starfleet, like training to be Starfleet officers in order to infiltrate Starfleet. Oh, is the word
for that? It's what they say with that all the celebrities have now. The MK Ultra, right? Like similar to MK Ultra.
Not exactly. It was basically all they were living in a human environment in order to learn how to act like humans. And during one of the wars, there were foreign nationals that were doing the same thing. They were living as Americans overseas, wherever it was that they were training, in order to learn how to be American, to infiltrate.
Yeah. Okay.
So
gotcha.
that's what I had assumed
that
was maybe happening. Yeah. But now this is like a completely different thing.
I didn't believe that theory at all. I never bought into it.
Yeah, neither did I.
I'm completely shocked that Voq and Tyler.
Yeah, and now this is more like what was that show with Christian Slater, My Own Worst Enemy, where he was like a secret agent that like was just like triggered.
That show was awful.
Oh, it was so bad. I mean, it was kind of a good premise though. It was fun because Christian Slater is Christian Slater.
Yeah,
he's hilarious. But it was just that it was that kind of a thing where he had his original memories covered up so that he could live his regular life without being able to blow his own cover.
Yeah.
Which eventually happened anyway. And now this seems like it's going to be sort of the same thing, but different.
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting because the part that made us all scream, spoiler alert, he just fucking snapped Culber's neck.
Yeah, that was my moment. That was my holy fuck. I was like, wait,
are you shitting me right now?
Because, and there's also been no, like, they did a really good job of keeping that a secret too, because like no one that I've seen in any of these Star Trek forums or anything was like, oh, this dude's gonna die.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming.
He's been doing press for the show.
Yeah.
And then, so not only did I go, oh shit, because I couldn't believe that he just snapped his neck like that, but the implications this has for Stamets, because Stamets is eventually going to wake up and be okay.
Right.
And now his fucking boyfriend is just dead.
Yeah, and it was right before that Stamets was like, the enemy is here.
Yeah, the enemy is here. The enemy is here.
And his eyes cleared up when he said that too. Like he turned to his boy, the doctor, and his eyes cleared up, and he was like, the enemy is here. And then his eyes went back over again.
Yeah.
And it was super, like, it was creepy.
Yeah.
It was really
careful,
kind of creepy.
he's here.
Yeah. Which, I mean, obviously, again, we knew what he was talking about because Laurel was like, all that shit happened. So immediately we were like, fuck, Ash is gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah, something really bad is gonna happen. We didn't know it was gonna happen right then.
Yeah. So that was that was weird. I like this version of the Mirror Universe, though.
I like it a lot.
Like the thing with Tilly, like that also now makes sense.
Tilly is my favorite character on this show.
Oh,
I've said it so many times.
Yeah, she's great. Like, previously, because there were also a lot of fan theories that, okay, well, Tilly's going to become the captain eventually.
Yes.
Because
maybe seasons down the road. Or
right. Because early on, when Stamets was first giving signs that he wasn't all there, he referred to her as captain. And she was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and
and everyone else was like, "It was kind of like,
she wanted to be captain, and she wanted to learn from Burnham."
And now we get over here, and it's like, oh, she's the captain of Discovery.
And I loved like that first scene when she's pretending to be the captain, and she's like, "What the heck, hell." Yeah. And then later she's like, "You assholes," and she's just in character.
Yeah, that was great. And
the switch flipped, and she was there.
And like this actress, like again, I can't remember her name. But like she's really good with that too, because you could see when she was on, when they were doing the visual communication, she was on it, and then as soon as they turned off the communicator, she was like, like she was like it was taking all of her effort
to be that
kind of a person, which was great.
Okay, so Culber's dead. We're in this crazy mirror universe where it's not the U.S.S. It's the ISS.
ISS. Yes.
I missed what that stood for. But they're mean. They're evil.
Yeah.
They're an evil human empire.
It's not necessarily that they're evil. They're evil.
They're the opposite.
Yeah,
of what we think of.
They're xenophobic. They hate everyone and are afraid of anyone that's not human, which is why I also find it interesting that they're working with the Vulcans. But I guess you need people.
They look human-ish. Besides the ears.
So it's but this version this version is so good because we've seen it in the original series.
Yeah.
We saw it in Deep Space Nine. Mm-hmm. And I believe there was an episode of Voyager.
I want to say yes, it was Voyager.
I don't remember because I haven't seen Voyager in a while either.
I don't watch Voyager or Enterprise since I was a little child.
So like we haven't seen the Mirror Universe on TV that often, and when we have, they've tried to do their best to keep it like, we're serious, we're evil.
It's a little cheesy.
But the tone of Discovery. That just brings a whole new level to that version. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah.
Especially like I said, with being that Jonathan Frakes directed this episode, like I haven't been following his career really, so I don't know what else he's directed outside. I know he's done a lot of TV, but like this, like for Star Trek, this is like completely out of the range of what I know of what I've seen him do. Like this was like super serious. I know he's done like The Librarians, but like The Librarians is another, like it's one of those shows that's it's campy, it's fun. And this was not that. You're looking him up?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what he's directed. He's directed a lot of episodes of Days of Our Lives, apparently.
Okay. That kind of makes sense.
Let me see. Something more recent.
What else is in there?
Angie Tribeca, another funny stuff.
Yeah.
Funny
so it's a lot of like comedies.
He did some stuff for Adventure Time, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of funny stuff. Okay, an episode of NCIS and Criminal Minds.
Okay, so I mean, those are a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But so like this just seemed like so out of the box.
Different tonality completely.
Yeah.
Imperial Starship ISS. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Imperial Starship.
Yeah, the Terran Empire.
Yeah. So what? Again, I'm gonna ask you guys. What did you think about just like this turn for Ash? Yeah, did you guys see it coming? Did you think that like I did that theory about him actually being Vogue was bullshit?
Dude, and then, so at the end of the episode, him and Burnham have a love scene because they've got their little love story going on.
Right.
Did that feel creepy to anybody else?
I mean, this is also on the I mean, that just had so many different levels.
There's so many layers
because,
to this
first of all, now we know all this other stuff about Ash.
Yes.
We had also just seen Burnham kill someone that she felt bad about having killed accidentally in our own universe. Yes. And now she's hooking up with Ash.
Yeah.
On a ship that she accidentally destroyed.
But like not the captain.
Yeah, there's just so many levels there.
It was the classic to me every time when you're watching like a horror movie or one of those kind of things, and the characters start having sex, and you're like, "This is not the time."
Right. Well, and also now, like, we don't know how much time they're actually going to spend in the mirror universe.
No, I mean they're setting it up for I would say at least 2 or 3 more episodes.
Yeah, at least another one.
Yeah.
Probably another 2.
Yeah, because they still have to deal with, Burnham is now on the ship and she's captain. They have to finish their mission on this ship, which
right. So
information.
Yeah. So what is her purpose now of being on the Shenzhou?
They're on the Shenzhou to basically hack into the Shenzhou's database to get some classified information about the Defiant.
Right, which is the ship that went over during Enterprise.
Yes, and I think they want that information on the Defiant so they can actually figure out how to get back to their own universe.
Right.
I think, but I mean, whatever. They're there to get the information.
Yeah. Because they found that there were 3 other ships that had ended up in that universe.
Yes.
Now, the only one that I'm familiar with is that would have happened during that timeline would have been the Defiant.
Yeah,
I guess the Enterprise.
Yeah, no.
And XO1. So I don't know what that 3rd ship would have been.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because all of the other ships would have happened post that timeline. The NCC Enterprise would have been after them because that's like 12 years later or something like that. The DS9 would have been like way later. After. Yeah, so I don't know what that would have been. I don't know what those other ones would have been.
Yeah, so they have to get the information off the Defiant, and then they have to get back to their ship, and then they got to get the fuck out of there. So I mean, this is at least another 2 episodes, I would say.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Well, and then once they get back.
Yeah. And there's going to be some emotional fallout here because I'm assuming we'll meet the Emperor, and that's going to be a big deal. What's his face is dead. Culber's dead, so they got to deal with that. Like, there's lots of stuff that's going to have to happen.
Well, someone has to find him too.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, just at that point, what's going to happen? Like, are they going to blame Stamets for that?
Who knows?
Because I mean, he's locked in that force field.
That would be logical. That would be the way for Ash to get away with it. And I mean, not that Ash has to get away with it, because I'm sure he doesn't even know that he did that.
Right, yeah.
So...
Well, because I don't think he did, because if you remember from the scene with L'Rell, when
he went into Manchurian candidate, he totally flipped.
Right, and then when he flipped back, he was on the other side of the room, and he's like, "What did you do to me?" Over here? Yeah. He completely had no idea what was happening.
So he doesn't know that he did that.
I don't think so.
Chaos Aria says she saw it coming, but not in the sick bay. That sounds like we're playing Clue.
Yeah.
In the sick bay with a candlestick.
Lieutenant Ash in the sick bay with his arms. That's wrong, but...
That's terrible. Too soon.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Man, they were such a cute couple, too.
Yeah. Oh, God. And then
And this totally falls into the kill all your gays trope. God damn it, Star Trek.
Well, also, Stamets is going to wake up at some point.
Yeah, know that his boyfriend is dead.
I mean, there's so...
This is real fucked up, and I have not had time to process.
There's so much going on. So Burnham. Let's talk about her actually going over to the Shenzhou and taking command.
So she goes over to the Shenzhou. She takes command, and it looked real good on her. She seemed very at home.
And I know we've got some Power Ranger fans here, and I believe someone told me that the guy who took over for her as captain, who is the guy that she accidentally killed back in our universe, was a Power Ranger on Mystic Force.
I think so, yeah.
I believe. Ryan, you might know that a little bit better than I do. Anna, you might know that as well. So that's I know a lot of people wanted to see a little bit more screen time for him. So if that is the guy,
I mean,
there he is.
There you go. You got about 5 minutes.
Right before she stabbed him.
That fight scene was beautifully choreographed.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with it because they were in such a small room.
It was a really confined space.
An elevator.
It was like, for me, that kind of a fight scene will always have to live up to from Captain America: The Winter Soldier when they're on the elevator.
Yeah.
I mean, that was super close quarters, which was the same thing with this, which was a little bit smaller space.
Yeah.
But the way they handled it was really well.
It was really nice the way the camera moved, and there was a lot of...
She knocked out the gravity and fucked shit up. I mean, yeah, like I've seen some people complain about the fight choreography on the show before. I've personally never had a problem with it, but I think it was done really well here.
There was one that bothered me in the very first episode, and it wasn't so much the choreography; it was more the camera work that I didn't like.
Yeah.
But that being said, I thought this one was beautifully done. The camera work was really good on it. It was a good fight. It was great.
Yeah, Anna says that it was Power Rangers SPD.
I don't remember what SPD stands for.
Yeah, I don't either. I wasn't watching Power Rangers then. Sorry.
I like Dino Force. I loved Dino Force.
Was that the one? That was the one where Tommy came back, right?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I really liked about that fight scene though was the doors open. He kind of falls backwards out of it, and then she's just standing there staring out at the bridge. The crew is staring back at her. Yeah. She doesn't know how to respond because she just killed this guy.
And she wants to feel badly about it.
And she obviously was not happy that she just had to do that, even though he was coming after her. Yeah. And then the bridge crew just starts to slow clap.
Right?
And I was like...
So fucked up.
I was like, this is great.
For our universe.
This is so great.
But it didn't... I was disappointed in myself for not seeing that fight coming. Just because when they were outfitting Tilly to get her ready, you know, they said, oh, she became captain by murdering the last captain in their bunk or something. Similarly. And then, you know, so they're talking about how, you know, just murderous and backstabby this whole crew is.
Right.
Or not crew, but this whole universe is. So then when I did not see that fight coming, I was really disappointed in myself because they definitely laid the...
I can't say that I was expecting it, but I can't. Yeah, I can't say that I wasn't expecting it either. As soon as he made that turn, I was like, because he's not
a fighter.
Yeah, for me, I think what tipped me off that something like that could potentially happen. Like I don't know that I was expecting it in this episode, but it was when they were talking to him on the viewer.
Yeah.
And they were like, "No, you're going to come to us. We're not going to come to you." And he all of a sudden was just like, "Okay, we'll change our voice."
Yeah.
But you can just kind of see something. You can see something.
Really salty about it.
Yeah. So I kind of
by hardcore, and I'm really upset that I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Space Patrol Delta.
Got it.
So he left space apparently. This actor.
So, who else do we need to talk about in this episode? We just talked about Brim. Lorca. Who is now in an agonizer.
Yeah.
And, again, the updated graphics for those are amazing.
Real good.
Amazing. Like, I know people are like, oh, well, updated technology, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's just updated effects for you. The agonizer was the thing.
That was good.
And the original series. Now we've got it here,
good.
and yeah, it looks amazing. And like, going back to Burnham for a second, like when they were going to put him in there, and she was like,
yeah,
and he gave her that look.
He gave her the look like, you're gonna blow our cover right now.
Yeah, you have to put me in there. Like, I felt bad for him at that point. Like, I was like,
so I think that everybody has a perception of him being an asshole, but Lorca's so pragmatic, and to really just sacrifice himself, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I said, that was like the scene when he was telling the doctor that he was going to take him off of Stamets.
Yeah.
Because he was too emotionally invested, which makes complete sense. Like, that is the absolute logical thing to do, because when you're so emotionally invested in something, you're not necessarily going to look at it.
Calls, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And he admitted that he did the same thing. That he pushed Stamets too far, and that was his fault.
He was emotionally invested. He fucked up. He made the wrong call.
And he knows that now.
Yeah, and this is his chance to correct that mistake.
Right. And like bashing his head into the wall. Like, I was super confused. I was confused about that for a second.
There was 1 second where I was like, "What? Oh, I get it."
Yeah, I was like, "Why is he bashing his head into?" And then they dragged him out. I was like, "Oh, I get it." But then at the same time, I was thinking, they just put
how strong is he to be able to throw his own head in with enough force?
Not only that, but like they just put basically put Tilly through a costume change.
Yeah.
You know, they changed her hair.
They straightened her hair. They put on, you know, their armor.
Right. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, couldn't they have just done the same thing to him? Just, you know, like taking him into like sick bay or something, and like, there's some fake blood.
Real, yeah.
But then when they brought him over, I was like, all right, I guess he actually did have to look beat up.
It wouldn't have made sense otherwise.
Yeah.
But so Lorca and Burnham don't exist in the mirror universe.
They're well, as far as we know, they're either dead or missing.
They're dead or missing.
Because Lorca's ship, because apparently he was, I guess, kind of the same same way.
Yeah, similar.
Similar, and he had rebelled.
Yes.
Against his orders, and Burnham took his ship out.
Yes, and so then he went to go kill Burnham, and so now they've got to assume their mirror universe counterparts and said, "Oh, we weren't missing," you know.
Right, but now we also have the mirror universe version of Discovery potentially in the Prime universe.
That was what I wanted to get to in the next couple of episodes. I think it will drag out a little bit because
we have to go back and we have to see what they're up to.
Exactly, we have to see what the ISS Discovery, the actual one, is doing in our universe.
Yeah, because I mean, in the original series episode where Kirk and Spock got swapped, eventually the crew figured out what was going on.
Yes.
So we have to assume that the same thing is going to happen here.
Because eventually they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, eventually the Terrans are probably going to figure out that that's not their discovery. That's something like someone's going to fuck up.
Yeah, somebody's going to fuck up.
Someone's going to fuck up somewhere.
Someone's going to fuck up and they've got to figure it out.
And yeah, someone's going to catch on and figure out what's going on. And the same thing is probably going to happen in our universe.
I would assume with the clues that we've been given, it'll happen when they go into the palace because Stamets is so... Stay out of the palace, stay out of the palace. So it means something. Eventually, we've got to get to wherever the palace is. I would assume it's the Empire's palace, and then
right. Hell. Well, I'm just like thinking about what the ISS Discovery is doing in our universe.
In our universe. What?
Because like I mean, there's a couple of different things. Like, do they want to go home?
Yeah.
Or are they happy being there? If they're happy being there, are they going to... Are
they just fucking shit up?
Right, like, I could see them, like, being like, oh, well, we're at war with the Klingons? Fuck the Klingons anyway, let's kill them all. Because what do they care? Yeah. They were going to get rid of them all anyway.
I could just see them there just firing on everyone, honestly. Like,
right?
Oh, Vulcans? What? Pew, 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 pew. Like,
yeah. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be real weird.
Yeah. Are they going to be able to get back? Or
do you think that they'll think they're in danger, so they'll play along too? That wouldn't be as interesting. It would not be as interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, you would imagine they would try to cover themselves up a little bit.
Yeah. I
mean, they have to be as smart as our version.
Yes.
Of those characters are.
So they have to realize immediately that they're not in their own universe.
Right. Like I don't know. Like I'm literally at a loss for what's going to happen. Oh, so Chaos Area just said, or do they win? That's very possible.
That would really throw this season into like, yeah, that would fuck up the season.
Yeah, I mean that would
not fuck it up, but it would change the course dramatically. You know,
right?
Because this whole. I feel like they can alter the course of the war. I don't think they can win it for them. Just because we are going to have a reckoning of this whole Ash Volk character. Well, there's no way to do that outside of this war.
And we don't know if that version of Discovery has a support drive.
Yeah.
Like it might. If it does, do they know how to use it? We don't know. We don't know anything about that. Like, is there a version of Stamets on that Discovery?
That's what I was just gonna say. I wonder what their version of Stamets is like.
I mean, because we know that Tilly's in charge.
Yeah.
Over there, but we don't. And obviously, you know, because Lorca was on a different ship and Burnham was on the Shenzhou, there's ripples that have happened, and everything is not completely parallel.
Hey, Migdalia.
So, I want to know who's going to be on that ship.
Chaos Aria says, well, they claim the first season is about the war, so...
Right.
Yeah, so I feel like the war's got to continue to play out.
Yeah, we don't know if that's going to continue to be on the first season, because by the time they got to the original series, there was an uneasy truce.
Yes, And
treaty, whatever.
There's an uneasy truce. This show has also been renewed for a second season. And I think when they said that the first season was going to be about the war, that was prior to them getting a second season.
Right.
So that could have altered their writing plans.
Right, but at the same time, I don't want to see like 2 or 3 seasons that are all.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to see 2 or 3 seasons about this war.
Yeah, because like with DS9, it started getting interesting once they got into the Dominion War. But even that didn't.
Yeah, no,
the war itself didn't last. 7 seasons of a show.
Yeah, and that's what I've said this from the beginning. I have concerns about this show being set as a prequel because let's just say, for instance, we get 12 seasons. That would put us in the Enterprise timeline.
Right.
We go 1 year per season. So what the fuck are they going to do then?
Yeah, well, especially with Burnham still being alive. If she's still alive by then.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, she wanted to run into Spock and all.
Yeah, right? Spock has never mentioned that he has a human sister.
Yeah, so I mean, we know. I mean, that's one of the biggest complaints that the Star Wars or Star Trek, Star Wars. Sorry, that we had a big argument here last night about Star Wars.
Your head on a stake.
So it's Star Wars on the mind. But yeah, like everyone is all about the continuity. And because at some point they have to start reconciling the continuity in this series with everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Spock know that he has a sister? Why doesn't the support drive ever get referenced somewhere else? And I have faith that people are going to know.
Yeah.
Or that the series creators are going to be able to figure that out and like build all that into the show.
Said that because we've never seen Saru's species before, so do they all go extinct by the time Enterprise comes around?
Right, or do we just not see them? Like, I mean, there are so many species, like, and we've seen so much limited stuff within the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Damn it, I did it again.
God damn it,
the Star Trek universe that there's so much more that is out there that we just haven't seen. So, like, being like, oh, well, we haven't seen this before. It doesn't mean anything because all we know is what we've seen on the four series.
Yeah. Oh, Chaos Aria said that the I totally, this went right by me, but she said it and I remembered. The Organaya was mentioned in this episode, and that's what caused the treaty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that went right by me during the episode, but you're totally right.
Yes, I wore this hat last night. So what? It's a hat. You're probably wearing something you wore last night, too. I don't know what. Shut up.
Back to Star Trek.
Back to Star Trek.
Not Star Wars.
I want to talk about Star Wars. I don't. I've talked about it so much.
I've talked about Star Wars so much in the past 6 weeks. I could never talk about it again.
Yeah. I can talk about it forever. But yeah. That's Star Trek Star Wars fight. It's not even a thing.
Yeah.
Like them both.
Right? I just like space.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that, I mean, the Agonizer, I feel like we hit most of the big things in this episode.
Yeah, well,
but fuck, there was a lot to happen in this episode.
Yeah, so, I mean, for me, now, it's all about Ash. Like, what's going to happen with him? Dude. What's going to happen when they find the doctor dead in sickbay?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to have to blame it on Stamets, honestly, because how else do they...
Yeah.
Because nobody knows. I mean, Cobra.
But
the only one
this
is
issues
and Ash is now dead.
This is another thing that I have a problem with. Security cameras. Like, aren't
right? Yeah,
we're in the
future.
We're in the future.
They can like conjure mirrors at will.
Right.
They don't have security cameras.
So I mean, like you would think that there would be some kind of a computer system that's monitoring the health of the people on board, since that's a thing that they can do. So for me, that's kind of a plot hole.
I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, no, that's a plot hole.
And I mean, they're not really
a plot hole.
Like in theory, they wouldn't unless he went and erased the data logs, he wouldn't be able to cover up the fact that someone else did it because they should be able to go in and look at security footage.
Who erased the data logs.
Yeah, so that is a thing. And it kind of annoys me that I just now thought about that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you guys again.
We did not see After Trek Chaos Aria. We literally go from watching the show to filming this.
Yeah. So, I'll probably watch After Trek tomorrow, just because like I kind of like watching. To be completely honest, I'm not a fan of Matt Mira.
No.
Like, he just, like, I don't know whether it's his personality or his voice, but something about him just bugs me just a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to watch it just to see, like, what they discussed, any of the exclusive preview things that they got, because they're since they're the official show, they get things that we don't. If you want us to get that kind of stuff, reach out to CBS and let them know. But yeah, like I just have so many questions at the end of this episode.
Yeah, dude, and God, when Burnham finds out what's going on, this is gonna be real bad for her.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be real bad for her because
this is also like her first real relationship.
Exactly, this is her first real relationship. She has no clue how to like deal with feelings. We had the whole time loop episode where she finally was able to like open up and deal with this whole she has feelings for Ash thing, and now. You know, Ash is not Ash. He's Klingon Manchurian candidate.
Yeah. So I don't know. So what are your questions going into the next episode? Like, just to kind of like wrap. Like, what are you hoping to see or to get out of that?
I don't know if I have any hopes because the show is so, like I said before. They are really good at giving us what we expect, not the way that we expect it.
Right.
And I feel like at this point, I need to start going in without any expectations at all.
Do you okay? Let me ask you this question. Do you think, going back on the Tyler Ash's Vogue thing, do you think we might be wrong? Do you think there's a possibility that he's not actually Vogue?
I think it's a possibility. I think at this point it doesn't matter. Because we've got this whole Klingon Manchurian candidate thing happening, and it's going to end up being a big piece of this war.
Right.
So it Vogue, not Vogue, doesn't really fucking matter at this point. He's got some weird Klingon shit.
But if it's not him, that means that Vogue is still out there someplace.
Okay, true.
At which point it's like, where the fuck is he?
I guess it does matter. Vogue is now Waldo.
Right, yeah. and then like, still, we haven't seen anything from the Klingons since.
Yeah, since what? Episode...
Was it
5?
No. We saw them in episode 9, you know.
Oh, no, we're on episode 10, I'm sorry.
We're on episode 10. We saw them in episode 9.
Yeah.
But we don't really know what's going on internally with them. So, because we don't know what's going on with Laurel. Like, we know that she was being held captive and now she's over here. But as far as where they're at with their war against us... Like, we don't know.
What I am really looking forward to in the next few episodes is to see how the experiences in the mirror universe change the characters when they go back to their universe. Yeah. Because you're going to have Tilly, who was acting as a captain and, you know, getting a taste of what that felt like, even though it wasn't her, it was the extreme of her personality, the opposite of her personality.
Well, who's actually in command over on Discovery now? Is it Saru?
In our universe or in...
No, on our Discovery.
On our Discovery?
I would imagine it would be Saru.
Saru would have to be in charge because Lorca is on the Shinzu.
Right.
But still, when we go back to our universe and everybody assumes their roles in our universe, it's still going to change. It's going to change them.
It's going to have to. And it's,
we get Tilly, who's got a taste of being captain. We've got Burnham,
right? And who knows how much she's going to have to pretend, because if they run into anyone else, she's going to have to constantly be in that role.
Yes. And I think that, you know, Burnham's mirror universe counterpart is probably not that different from actual Burnham, because it was very easy for her to slide into that role, you know?
Right.
So, and her and Lorca have both been these kind of like, I walk the line, Johnny Cash type rebellious characters.
Right. But I mean, at the same time, Burnham being forced to kill that guy.
Yeah, she didn't like that.
She didn't like that. Like, that was the thing that she was literally forced into doing that, whereas the mutiny, that was a decision that she didn't make it lightly.
She didn't decide to be a mutineer per se.
Right. Whereas
it was a mutiny by default.
Right. Whereas this, she was like, it was thrust upon her. She had no choice. It was either her or him.
Yeah. So that's what I'm most interested to see. I am most interested to see how these adventures in the mirror universe change them when they get back to our universe.
When Lorca gets out of the agonizer, because we know that he's either been tortured or something happened to him because of the way he reacted when when the ambassador was like touching his back when they were in bed together.
And the episode with Dwight, he was really.
I
can't think of his real fucking name. Harvey Mudd.
Mudd. Yeah. Harry Mudd.
Yeah,
Harry Mudd.
The episode with
Harry Mudd. You were saying Dwight. I was like, what? I was like, from The Office.
Yeah, from The Office. Sorry. The episodes with Harry Mudd. So we know that he's been tortured before.
Right. So like now, is this going to be like a PTSD thing for him? Like when he comes out of it, he's going to be like changed too.
Yeah, he's got PTSD.
Yeah,
it's like Oprah.
It's gonna be really interesting to see how all of that actually plays out. I'm excited. Like I've been a fan of the show from the beginning. It's consistently gotten better since the first episode.
It has. I feel so bad for people who stopped watching this after it's been
I do too. Like I hope maybe that people.
I hope there's enough word of mouth to make people go back and watch this.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of shows that I've tried to get into where I'm like, I can't watch this, and I turn it off, and then I'm like, everyone says I need to watch this show, so I'll go back, I'll try watching again, like The Runaways. The Marvel show.
Okay, I haven't done that yet.
So it took me like 3 times to get through the pilot before I was like, okay, I've watched the pilot, now I can watch the second episode, and then I'm like, but by the time I got to episode 3, I was like, I like this show.
You know, it was my show like that, and this is not a serious subject matter. Parks and Rec. It took me forever to get into Parks and Recs, and for years people were like, "Oh, watch it," and it wasn't until I was at home and didn't have a job, so I needed to watch TV, and I was like, I'll just try this shit one more time.
Game of Thrones. Like it took me.
You have to get past the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, it took me 4 times to get through the first 2 episodes of that.
That's what I tell everybody who hasn't watched it yet. You have to, if you haven't watched it yet, block out your day and watch the first 3 episodes in a row.
So
you have to get past the first 2.
I didn't watch it until season. I want to say season 4.
Yeah.
It was either season 3 or season 4. It was right after I moved out here to LA. I'd watched I tried watching one of the episodes and I was like, I just couldn't get into it. And then later on in season 1, I tried watching the pilot again. I was like, season 2 comes around and everyone's still talking about it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go back and try watching it again. Couldn't get through it. Then I moved out here. My roommates were like, look, we're going to be watching this every Sunday night. So either you're going to have to hide in your room or you're going to be stuck or you're going to be stuck watching it. And there's no point in you watching it if you're not caught up.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, sat down. I was between freelance jobs. Yeah. I had like a week and a half where I wasn't doing anything. In a week, I watched all the way from season 1 up through season 3. And I was like,
that's the same thing that happened.
I'm in now.
That's what happened with my mom. I was on vacation from work, and I wanted to catch up on the show. I wanted to rewatch before the next season premiered. And we're sitting there watching episode 1, and she's like, this is gross. I don't want to watch this anymore. And I was like, just sit here. We get to episode 2, and she's like, I don't think I like this. We got to episode 3, and finally she was like, all right, I want to keep watching this. You have to get past the first 3 on Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Just because it's one of those shows where I can see how people like it going in, but if you're the kind of person who like doesn't immediately get into like slow building stuff like that, I can see how.
But that's because that was me. The first 4 episodes were the ones that were free, and a lot of people stopped watching after that because they didn't want to pay for it. And I think that the first 4 were they were slow, and they had to spoon feed you into, we are a Star Trek show, and this is Star Trek, but also we're our own show and we're different.
Right.
And I think that didn't work for a lot of people. But once we hit episode 5, the show has been...
Yeah. It's been really good.
It's been so good.
So let's see. I think we've...
Yeah, I think we're good.
Probably covered just about everything in this episode. Again, like I said, I've got all these questions about the Discovery and Ash and what just like...
This is one of those ones where I'm so mad
what's going on going into next week. What are your questions going into the next episode, guys? I want to know. We want to know.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much going on now, and we've got 5 episodes left now.
Yeah.
Is that right? Because next 11 we've got 16.
Yeah, 16 episodes.
So we've got 5 episodes left. Which, while we're waiting for you guys to answer tell us what your questions going to next week are.
Is it time for shameless plugs?
Let's do some shameless plugs. First, before Discovery ends, Altered Carbon on Netflix. Have you seen anything about that?
Possibly.
So it's a science fiction book series that Netflix has picked up to turn into a series. It starts on February 2nd.
Okay.
So that is going to overlap with Star Trek Discovery a bit
Yeah.
because since it's Netflix, all the episodes are going to drop. Probably going to break down the season into a couple of episodes.
Okay.
So look for that coming February 2nd. At least it'll probably be that weekend. We're not going to cover it the same day that it comes out because
That's impossible.
yeah,
That's
it's
not possible.
literally impossible to watch like 13 hours of a show
And then do an after show.
and then do an after show about the entire
You'd be
thing.
so punch drunk. I would actually like to see that.
Maybe I'm doing. So I'm going to be on a new show on the channel that we're doing called Throwback Thursday. It's going to be me, and I'm not sure that I have a partner for it just yet. We're still waiting for confirmation on who that is. That I was thinking about that too. We might have interchangeable people out, but since I'm the oldest person here, I could be nostalgic about more stuff. But so we could go back and do a whole lot of things. So what would be interesting is doing a marathon of all of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
And then talking about it. It's 12 hours.
One year, that was my New Year's Eve party. If you start them at like 11:30 in the afternoon, that's around when we started them.
By midnight they'll be
done.
They're done. The extended editions or the regular theatrical cuts?
The extended edition. So that's what we did. We started it during the day. I don't remember what time during the day we started. But we timed it out to where the movies ended by about 11:45.
Right.
So that gave everybody enough time to go to the bathroom, do whatever you want to do, and then do the countdown.
I really like Lord of the Rings. I'm a fan of the movies. I thought they were really good, but they are so slow. I can't. I literally can't do that. I can watch I can watch one of the movies, and then it's going to be like a week or so before I can watch the next one.
Oh no, I love them. I consistently watch them, to the point where I could probably recite all of them. If I can't sleep at night, I'll put on Lord of the Rings. If I'm sick, I'll put on Lord of the Rings.
That's just too much for me.
Lord of the Rings on the television, it's probably going to be on my TV. And I'm stoked for this Amazon series.
Which one? The Lord of the Rings TV series. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. Because I don't know. My body is ready. Yeah.
My body's ready.
Are they going to go back and do are they just focusing on the Lord of the Rings, or are they going to do the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings?
Silmarillion could be such a great television show. I love Lord of the Rings. I love the Hobbit. We've already seen them on screen.
Yeah.
The Silmarillion would be such a good TV show.
Because that's going back 3,000 years, something like that. Dude. That goes back to the lore, that gives you where the ring came from and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that I might watch.
Okay, I can't admit though, the year that we did that for our New Year's Eve party, everyone was asleep by 12:10. It was the earliest I've ever gone to bed after a New Year's Eve party.
I believe
we stayed up just for the countdown, and they're like, okay, fuck this, we're all tired.
Yeah, we're done.
Get out of my house or go to sleep.
So let's see questions that they've got. Let's see. Ryan wants to know, when is season 2 of Star Trek coming out? It looks like that's probably going to be 2019.
September. Yeah. Oh, 2019. So not the September.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think they've actually made an announcement yet.
I don't think they've announced a date.
I don't think it's coming until 2019. I think they're doing the Westworld type thing where they
goddamn Game of Thrones. 2018 is canceled, by the way.
Yeah,
over because there's no Game of Thrones.
Because they want to make sure that they're doing the season right. They're putting a lot of money into it. So I completely get that. Doctor Who has done that a couple of times too.
Yeah,
where there's been a super
really
long time.
Time breaks.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan. I don't know when that is coming out. Anna is asking, when will we see alternate Ash or his Klingon side? That's a good question. Well, do you think
Mirror Universe Ash,
Mirror Universe Ash, or Mirror Universe Voke or Laurel? Or do you think we're going to see any of them?
Oh, it's frightening. I don't like it. Maybe
I don't know. Because we don't know what the Klingons are doing right now.
We have
in the Mirror Universe
right now, and that would be a very interesting way to reveal this whole Manchurian Candidate MK Ultra thing we've got going on with Ash.
Right.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that at all.
That's a
get out of here, Anna.
That's a good question.
No, don't get out of here. I really like you. I just scary idea.
Yeah. Scary. Yeah. So, man, yeah. Again, this is what. As far, I don't want to rate this against any other series, but as far as all the previous episodes from this season, what would you rate this episode?
Ooh, I would say my favorite episodes would be, if I'm going to do top 3, it would be the time loop episode.
Okay.
Then this one, and then Harry Mudd.
Well, the time loop episode was. Oh, are you talking about the other Harry Mudd episode? The one where we met Harry Mudd?
Yeah, the one where we met Harry Mudd.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
So that time loop episode was just fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was just fun. Like that was like I said when we went over that episode originally. Like that for me,
Trek.
It was classic Trek. That was like where I was like, okay, this is the Star Trek that I know. Mm-hmm. And like this episode was kind of that too.
Yes.
Like it was
very similar.
Obviously, like that episode, it had a lot darker tone than some of the other fun episodes have had.
But it was very much.
But it was still,
think,
it was very Star Trekky.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
All right, so that is going to do it for us for this week. Let's plug where we can find you. Yeah. So for those of you guys that don't know, we have made some changes with our lineup. We've got some new cast members that have come over from that hashtag show. They're going to be joining us. We've got some of the comic book shows that are coming over here. Infinity Watch and the Watchtower, our DC show. Infinity Watch is our Marvel show. Those will be popping up. Doctor Who is actually moving over to that hashtag show, but that's not coming back until sometime later on in the year.
Sam and I are going to be doing a Rick and Morty show with a new cast member pretty soon. We're not
sure Well, I mean, the new season isn't coming until like 2019 again. So
I want to do some recaps.
We might do like a fun fan theory show with that. So we'll kind of see how that goes. There's going to be a horror
show with me happening at some point.
Yeah, that's going to be that is a like special event type thing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like once a month, once every couple of months when something horror related comes up. We'll jump into that.
I'm your resident creepy girl.
I know there's some video game stuff that's coming up, so maybe Kelly with Achievement Unlocked will pull some of us in for that. But there's a lot of stuff. There's
or not Dark, sorry. Dark is another Netflix show that we should look at.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's been on for a while already, though.
Really?
I
just heard about it last week, so to me it's new.
I tried watching it. I couldn't get into it. Like it's hard for me to watch subtitled shows. Like
I have the same issue.
It's just like for me because of everything that I'm busy with PCR and everything on that hashtag show and outside jobs. I'm always working. I
have an appreciation for anime. I don't necessarily follow it because I can't sit down and read a TV show for half an hour.
That's my thing. Like I'm always working on something, so I have to be able to multitask, and I can't do that if I'm trying to read subtitles.
Kamen Rider Build, I think, will be coming back. I don't have
so we are actually doing a change up with that too. So Henshin Hangout, which you guys know from that hashtag show, is moving over here to PCR, and it's merging with the Kamen Rider show. So it's going to be a 1 hour and 20-minute show that's all of the Sentai stuff combined. So we're going to do half on Kamen Rider and half on, I think it's Q Ranger that's currently on. But it's not Q Ranger. It's the new show, which is Lupin something. Sorry, I don't know that world very well. But whatever the next when the next season of Sentai starts, that's when those changes are probably going to start taking place.
Shameless plugs.
Shameless plugs. Where can we find you on the Twitters?
On the Twitter at Lambertra, LAMBERTRAA_.
You have a blog?
I do. www.lambertra.com. No underscore with that one.
All right. Yes, Jalen. Anime is going to be coming back. It will be on Facebook. We're not going to be doing that on YouTube, but that is going to be associated with Pop Culture Renegades.
I think the best place to find out where all the things are is going to be our Pop Culture Renegades Twitter, right?
Yeah. You'll be able to find that on our Twitter. We'll be linking to that on our Facebook page. You can also join THS Hashtaggers on Facebook. That is our Facebook group. We'll be linking all the stuff that we do on there as well. For me, you can find me on Twitter at the Goldman. That's GOLDMAN. Preceded by the THE, preceded by the @sign. If you want to look at the 5 pictures I have on Instagram, you can find me at It's the Goldman, which is the same thing, just preceded by ITS. You can find that hashtag show on YouTube at that hashtag show TV. You can find us on Facebook at Pop Culture Renegades. You can find that hashtag show at that hashtag show. And that's it for our shows for today. Tomorrow we don't have anything. Next is our wrestling show coming up on that hashtag show on Tuesday. Along with Kelly streaming Achievement Unlocked on Twitch.
Woo! That was a lot.
I think that's it. I forgot anyone, I am sorry.
Deal with it.
I am out of breath. So that's going to do it for us. I'm going to go ahead and click us over into Oblivion.
Goodbye.
So we will see you guys next week.